Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Boulder Canyon here in Farming Simulator 19. We're just finishing up doing the fertilizer spreading on our grass field. And then once we've done that, we're going to be heading up that way and we're going to be doing a little bit of gathering of timber. We've got quite a bit of timber down on the ground. We do also have quite a bit of timber that we need to cut down and deal with. And there's also a load of stumps over there as well that I'd like to do a bit of work with. And I'm sort of thinking that maybe we'll go and grind out the stumps that are over there first. Get rid of some of the ones underneath the tree line on that side. And then we'll leave the ones over there. But if we sort of tidy up the tree stumps that are around. And then we can just sort of, we've only then got one lot of tree stumps to go and do later on. It just might make our life a little bit easier a bit further down the line. I'm not quite sure yet. We'll have to see. I want to just finish up this fertilizer spreading because... Oh. Okay. Pleasantly surprised by this. I wasn't actually expecting the hired help to go all the way up and turn round and do the other corner. So maybe they are actually going to go and do that. If they do, that's fantastic. That's absolutely wonderful. Cleanliness, we could do it cleaning up a little bit. We're running low on grass and hay, but we're all right at the moment. And we could do with topping up the water. We can top up the water. But the grass hay situation, when we do our next cut, we're going to make some hay bales out of the middle of this. We will do 4 rounds around the outside that we will turn into silage. And then after we've done those 4 rounds, we will go back through and we will do some hay on the rest of it. We'll turn the rest of the field into hay. And that can then be placed... I was going to say stacked, but, I mean, I suppose stacking the bales 2 bales high would be alright, even though we're storing outside. Ideally, you want to place them individually if you've got round bales being stored outside, because then the rain can easily run off them. But I have seen them stored, stacked up 2 bales high, and it's not really caused any issues. Now, let me just have a look here a minute. There is a tiny little bit left there, so we'll just go and pick up that little bit. So we probably get away with doing that. We'll worry about that a bit later on. We're going to be doing some cutting of trees to start with, at least. I'm not sure how much we'll do. It sort of depends when I get bored with cutting trees down. We'll take this back. We will clean them up. And we're also going to repair them as well. Because if you look at the repairometer on this one... It's actually below halfway on this red tractor, on this IMT here. So we're going to just run this one into the workshop a minute and do a little bit of work on it. And we'll also clean the thing off. We've still got our X-lifter over there. And I know I haven't used it for quite a while. Some people have suggested that we should sell it. I'm honestly not sure that would actually be worth it, to be honest, but we'll see. We will consider it. So we'll repair that, and we'll repair that as well. Nice and cheap repair jobs. That's the good thing with these. You can repair most things on these tractors with a hammer, a screwdriver, and a can of WD-40. You don't really need anything else to get them fully repaired. We'll run this one over, and we can't really empty... Well, we could empty... You know what? We can empty the fertilizer out. The game does now allow us to do that. There is a mechanic that it allows us to do this. Whether or not it's going to let us do it in here, I don't know, but there is definitely a game mechanic available that does allow us to do this. We go like that. There we go. That puts that into a container that's off to the side. So we're not storing fertilizer in the fertilizer spreader for a length of time, which is something that you want to avoid doing if at all possible. So we'll bring you over to here. And, of course, the starter motor's not working very well on this tractor. And if anybody's ever driven an old Massey Ferguson or an old IMT like this, once the starters start, once you start to have issues with it, you start the thing up at the beginning of the day and you leave it on all day. Just, it's a lot easier. The fuel it uses is so minimal it doesn't matter. And you just leave the thing running. Except when you go in for dinner. If you're stopping to do something like this... Unless you've absolutely got to, you leave the machine running because it's just a lot easier than trying to start it again. Or if you do have to stop it, you stop it on a slope. and then you can bump start it. When it's cold, it's a lot more difficult to bump start the thing. It doesn't usually bump start very well. But when the engine is warm, bump starting is actually something that you can do reasonably well. So we'll run it around over this side now. Let's not go too fast. We'll bring it round here. I want to get a bit of fuel in here. That's why we're running over here. And we'll top this one up with fuel so he's ready to go like that. There, diesel. Start. Load that one all the way up with diesel. I've had some people tell me that I shouldn't leave the engine running while I'm filling it up with diesel and that it might be dangerous. I know that, you know, maybe with petrol you wouldn't really want to leave your engine running, but I've never really heard it being classed as dangerous with the engine running with diesel. And I suppose maybe there's a risk there somewhere, but I've always just left the engine running, or at least I have in some place I've worked, and it's not just me. I know a lot of people that will never switch the engine off while they're reloading the fuel in the machine. They just kind of leave it all running and pour fuel right into it. It's never really done any harm. So I know that there are those that say that I should be switching that engine off while I'm refueling, but I've never really needed to. I've never really considered it to be something of a necessity, so I don't generally worry about it. Right, we'll back up here a little bit. If I turn the wheel a bit faster, probably because I've got the sensitivity down a bit, but I do deliberately keep the sensitivity down a bit. Right, let's try. Bring that one over there like that, and there. I kind of have it like that. And we'll see if we can... Nope, now it's missing bits. There we go, now I got it. It is difficult to get the game to actually work because the forks don't go into the ground ever so slightly. And so that does make it a little bit tricky to deal with. But anyway, we've got that bit there, so we can tip that out. There's our sheep fed. We'll bring this one back over here. I'm going to... Actually, I could probably just take the whole front loader off now. We've done that bit. I said about the water... Yeah, let's go and do the water. I said about it. Then I was wondering whether or not I actually should. I will. We will do the water over here. And I'm getting a lot of these little lag spikes again. Like, it's going... like 30 frames to 60 frames to 30 frames to 60 frames all the time. I have a frame rate counter up that you lot can't see. It doesn't get picked up in the recording. It just allows me to sort of monitor whether anything is going wrong or not. And it's very strange that I'm constantly getting this frame rate drop as I'm moving around. And I understand that some of it is you know, there are some reasons for it to happen, like different directions that you're looking in the map and things like that sometimes, but that doesn't explain all of it. That doesn't completely explain the massive frame rate drops that I get from time to time. And I wonder, and I said this in the last series, but I'm saying it again for those of you who don't watch the other series, I wonder if maybe it's to do with landscaping. Like, we've done a bit of landscaping around here, haven't we? And we've put in these pens and that. And I wonder if that has an effect on it. Although, when I'm looking that way, I'm getting exactly 30 frames a second. And over there, maybe it's the sheer number of trees on the map. Looking that, you know, looking up there, I get it. But looking directly down that way, I don't. So... I'm really unsure as to what would cause it, whether it's the map or whether it's the mods that we've got in the game or what, or the landscaping thing is part of the actual game. I'm genuinely not sure. Anyway, let's not worry about that. We will go over this way now, and we're going to remove the front loader. Now, that's another thing that people have been saying I should sell, is the red trailer. And it might be time to consider getting rid of said red trailer. Let's knock that one over then, shall we? Alright, let's not. Let's leave that one over there. And I'll bring this one back. There we go, that's a bit better. Like that. no, I'm not going to get rid of the red trailer at the moment, nor am I going to get rid of the X-Lifter, just in case something else comes along later on that we want them for. I mean, chances are it probably won't, admittedly, but it still, I think it would be a good idea to keep hold of it for now, for when we want. I mean, think about this. When we eventually move into arable production, we're not going to be going for a massive combine to start with, are we? And that trailer could be just right for doing a little bit of combining to start off with. So I don't think it would be a bad thing to keep hold of that trailer for now. The X-Lifter possibly has got less use than any of the other items. But again, it's still... I still think that there may be uses for it further down the line. Once we've gotten our Ponzi Scorpion, we're going to have to seriously consider getting ourselves some decent housing, right? At the moment, we've just got that tent. The workers on the farm live in better quality, live in better conditions than we do, and I feel this is something that needs to be remedied. At some point, quite sure when we're going to remedy it, but it's definitely something that needs to be remedied. Right, there is one stump. And there's another one right there. We'll just take out a few along this run along here. There are a lot more tree stumps here that we're going to have to do something with, but we're not going to deal with the ones that are under the ground. That's not something that we're going to worry about at the moment. We will leave those. We'll come back to them another day. We will eventually come back to them. I promise you that. We will come and deal with them. Very, very slow going up the hill. Even though the thing is up in the air and it's not actually operational at the moment, it's spinning round, and that seems to take a lot out of the tractor. So we'll do it like that. Now, oh, there's one. There's one right in front of me. So if I take that one out a minute. Oh, I nearly missed it. Right. Take that one there. There's another. Oh, there. There's two over here, and then there's one to our right-hand side as well. So if we bring that one up round there like that, and go to about there, and then start cruising on up this way, take out that next stump as well, like that, and then we can back down here, and we've got that stump over there. And a little bit further on, there's another one. There's two more done. We'll get rid of you like that. And then, I can't remember if it removes... Oh, no, it doesn't. It doesn't remove bushes. It just takes out the stumps and cuts the grass shorter. Doesn't do anything else on it. Bring you over to there. There's another one I can see. Is there any more just here? There weren't that many trees along this bit, really, were there? Like, I know that there were a few that we went along and we felled, just to tidy up the edge and make it a little bit easier. Mainly because, to start with, we thought that might be the issue with why the hired help was acting weird. But it turns out that that wasn't why the hired help was acting weird at all. It was all to do with the sheer quantity of tree stumps that were still buried under the ground. Right, we'll leave the rest. We'll leave all of those. We'll drive back over to the yard, and we will go and get our logging trailer on. We can run that one up, because we've got quite a few logs on the ground at the top as well, so there is a fair bit of work for us to do. I'll put this one back down next to the tent here, get it unhitched, and then we can get that trailer on and sell another round of logs. Now, we're looking at around 20,000 per pile of logs, aren't we? So if we do a little bit of selling of logs today, we're going to get 20, maybe 40 grand from it. That's going to push us up above the 200,000 mark. We're not going to be getting a full round of silage bales to sell on our next cut of grass off the field. That's something that we've already come to accept. That's fine. We can deal with that. And I'm not going to keep driving on the actual field itself. We'll go up round here like this, so that we're avoiding driving on the field itself. This will make sure that, you know, we're not squashing down the growing grass, because we really don't want to be doing that. The growing grass is stuff that we want to keep growing. You know, it's valuable. It is worth a lot of money, especially once it's full grown. So if we keep driving on it, it's not going to help that situation. Right, so it normally starts on the left-hand side, doesn't it? We'll turn that one on. There. I don't know if it's on or off. I also don't know what side, so we need O to toggle the side. But I'm going to assume at the moment that it is on. But I got a feeling that it's on the left-hand side. I've got to scramble up this hill. Yeah, it's on the other side. Right, so I turn that one off. I press O to switch sides. I turn it back on again. There we go. Now we're talking. Right. We can start scrambling up the hill. We've got one piece of timber over the other side over there, over here. I'm going to bring that one over. I'll pick that one up and I'll move it. If I bring that one over here, drop it down next to that tree there. That way we should grab hold of it. And it's very laggy right here. If I look that way, it instantly goes to lag. And I suspect the reason for that is the river. I reckon that the river is causing that, because I've had that on quite a number of maps where if you look towards any kind of moving water, it lags it out completely. And it's really nice having a river as a feature on a map. It's absolutely fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I really do think it's a wonderful thing. But at the same time, I'd rather maps just didn't have it. Right? Having this whole running water feature is almost always, it just means a horrible lag fest on the map. It doesn't seem to matter what you do with the map. It doesn't seem to matter where you go. If there is running water on the map, it's gonna lag horribly, and it's just not very pleasant. So if there's a map that doesn't have a river running through it, but everybody puts rivers running through their maps. I would very much like to see maps that don't have rivers on them. I would much rather have maps without rivers on them, I think. Because almost always the rivers seem to be the bit that causes lag. I mean, it's not going to be all of the lag issues, but any map I found that looks absolutely stunning and has got a river going through with waterfalls or anything like that always causes major lag on a map. And it does the same with the base game maps as well. You go anywhere near running water on a base game maps and you are going to experience bits of lag. And yeah, it's unfortunate because it does spoil what can otherwise, you know, it does affect the game. It does affect your enjoyment of the game as well. And that's the bit that I don't like, is that it's actually impacting your enjoyment of what would otherwise be a very good game. And because that one was out wrong, it fell off, and caused the others to fall off as well. Let's hope that the rest doesn't. I'm going to keep climbing up here. It's getting up that hill that's the problem. I think we should come up the hill without any timber on board, and then just sort of work around the top here. I'll pick these bits up like this, and then I need to be able to get through there. Right, I think we're just going to have to try and... It's always difficult getting across logs because that happens like that. The wheels kind of spin the logs back towards your trailer and they don't let you move. Right, now we're moving and we're actually picking up the logs at the same time. This is a good thing. So we'll keep sliding on up through here. Get the rest of these logs on. I want to get as many as I can. I'm going to be greedy. Take a big old load. Right, that'll probably do, I should think. So we'll strap that lot down like that. And we will be on our merry. We want to get out here. If we can just get out onto the road, then we can head back down the hill. And we can go and sell this timber. And I think the next time we will drive up round. Although, I don't think we've got enough timber left up here to do another full load. So, we'll drive the tractor and trailer up here. But then we'll have to get the saw out and start cutting down some more trees. So all of the trees that you see up in this top section up here, they've all got to be removed. Right out to the road, all the way over. We've marked out right to the edge over there with those felled trees there. And so all the rest of it, we just got to remove all of them. And that should... that's a fairly simple process. It is something that we've done quite a lot of, so it's not like we're going to be experiencing anything new and unusually difficult. I think we can cope with it. Let's bring you down around here. This straight line up here is going to be where the bulk of the field is going to be. And then the bit over the other side, that's where we're going to put some more animals, so that we spread our animals out a bit. What I don't want to do is crash the tractor. I mean, down here, right, we've got a very heavy load on the back, and we do not want to crash. But I don't think it's going to. I think we're going to be all right. We need fuel for this tractor, actually. Right, we probably should have refueled before we came up here. But before we start doing our next lot of grass cutting, which will probably be the last episode of this week, I should think, or something like that, we are going to want to get some more fuel. I'm thinking that we'll do a day or two of cutting trees down, and then we can jump forward a little bit, and we can get on with doing a little bit more tree felling. We can do another round of grass cutting. Oh. Did you see how I went too fast around that corner? That one definitely started to lean over. We could have run into a spot of bother right there. I know that I don't have the front weight on this one, and that does actually, like, I've got the just the generic weight, and I think that does actually slow us down quite a bit going up the hills. I think that is causing us to struggle a bit. It's getting up to here. As long as he's moving when you get to the top, it seems alright. It's that bit where the back wheels start lifting off the ground that he seems to struggle with it more than any other. Get up to here a minute. I think that will probably do, so I can take the straps off, and we can sell. $19,715. So, we don't get a huge amount. If we just do this from selling timber, we've got to do a minimum of another 12 loads of timber in order to be able to get all of the money that we want for our Ponzi Scorpion. But we're not going to need to do that. We have more silage that we're going to be able to sell, and there will be more wool to sell as well. The wool is coming along. We are getting pallets of wool slowly accumulating, so we'll be able to get some through that, and we'll be able to get some through selling a bit more silage as well. This time round, obviously, we're keeping hay back so that we've got plenty to put in for the sheep. But we're still going to be there is still going to be a decent amount of look, see, everything is now on a flat 30 frames per second, and I guarantee you that is because of we've got moving water in the visual. Right? I think part of it over there is that might even be water as well, but there's definitely part of the trees, but whenever I'm looking towards anywhere that there is water, it just goes to 30 and then stops there exactly. But it just makes the game seem a little bit laggy as well, which is unfortunate, because like this map is really, really nice, but it's definitely unfortunate that it's having this effect. I mean, we could always do this. If I do that, it's perfect. But as soon as I get a distance going on the map, then it jumps down, and yeah. Still not entirely convinced it's the water. I think it might just be the sheer quantity of trees that we've got on here, but yeah, well, we'll wait and see. Anyway, we want to cut down trees. So if I bring this one up to here, we need to make sure that the trees fall the right way anyway. So you can stop there. I jump off, and to go with the chainsaw, and it's you push it. That's what you do. You push them over with the chainsaw. So if we go like that, this tree should fall the right way. It should fall to our left. If it doesn't, we're in a bit of trouble. Main reason that we'd be in trouble with it is not because of it landing on the trailer, because it could actually land on that log trailer without damaging the log trailer. No, the main reason that we would be in trouble with it is because of the fact that it's landing on land that we don't own, and then we're not allowed to go and cut with the chain, even if the tree is half on our land and half on someone else's. We're not allowed to touch. We're not allowed to touch it. We're not allowed to touch it at all. That wonderful game mechanic that says you don't own this land, so you can't cut the tree that has just accidentally fallen across your neighbour's land. because we're nice like that, and we assume that all neighbors are going to be really, really nasty to each other. I don't get, really. This, you know, this is an agricultural game. Neighbors generally pretty good at working together. I mean, yeah, there's the odd feud here and there that we've heard about, but not that many. It's usually pretty good, in my experience. Right, let's shave this one off up through here. We'll work away some of the trees on this corner to start with. And when we've done that, we can... Well, I'd like to work across the top. If we can clear all the trees along the top end, and then we'll start working on the steeper slopes a little bit later on, I think. Come down here. I want to cut that bit right in half there. Right. There's two of them. We'll take you down, I think. That one can go. Chop that one down there. And then there's going to be another one. Well, we've got several over there on that side. So we'll bring that back over this way and do a slice up through here. Have that nice and clean up through there. Oops. There we go. Right, that's looking pretty good. And that one, I think we'll cut that one in half. As long as I get it just right. They're both pretty long, but I think they'll be all right. Now, there's a clump of trees right there, but there's also these clumps of trees up here. Excuse me. We will do these clumps up here first, and then we'll go back and do that sort of cluster of trees over there afterwards. So this one right here. Run down through and whip off all of these branches like this. See, these trees, the ones with all the tight branches on them, they're a little bit deceptive sometimes. You look at the base of the tree and you think, well, that's not actually all that tall. Then it falls over and it seems to be bigger than you first realized. Go there, and that one right there. That'll do me nicely. And then we've got this one. See, this one is a short tree. This is definitely a short tree. It's like a little Christmas tree that you would go and cut down and then go and put into your house. Well, if you owned a big house, I would say. This is the fair size, isn't it? I know some people will put trees like this in their house. Like, absolutely massive, great big things. I don't tend to. Well, I don't put a real tree up anyway. I always put a fake tree up these days. Pine needles. I don't want pine needles everywhere. Alright, I've done the real tree several times, and yes, it's really nice, and it's really awesome, but the tree ends up dying, so after 2 days, you've got the sort of this brown thing that's shedding needles everywhere, and it just looks horrible. It ends up looking terrible, because, I mean, yeah, you leave some root on and so on, and do everything that you can, but the fact of the matter is you're bringing it into a warm house, and these trees aren't designed for going from cold to warm like that, and that's generally what kills them. It's the temperature shock, not the lack of water or nutrients or anything. It's a temperature shock. But add to that, you've got all of these needles that are then sort of shedding everywhere, and they, if you've got carpet anywhere near, then they get right into the carpet, and that is that is a real nuisance. Getting pine needles out of the carpet is, yeah, that takes months. That literally takes months of carefully picking them out. You don't do that. So you then sort of limit it a little bit to which rooms of the house you can put your tree in, and so yeah, that's fine. If they, again, it's personal preference. So you've limited the rooms that you're putting your tree in, and you want to, you still want to have your tree. Well, it still drops pine needles, right? It still drops loads of them, and if you go anywhere near the tree with bare feet, the pine needles will stick into your feet. If you go anywhere near them with slippers or socks or something like that on, then they stick to said footwear and get spread through the rest of the house anywhere. So you're back to picking pine needles out of the carpets. No. So we bought a plastic tree about 10 years ago, and it's the same tree that we use every year, and it looks quite realistic. You can, you know, see it's got wires in each of the branches so that you can sort of shape the branches how you want them to, and then you don't have any of the extra hassle. And, you know, the pine tree, that one gets to continue living outside, and it's quite happy, and I'm quite happy, and everybody's happy. Now, I do have a small pine tree growing in my garden. I'm quite happy also, once that one's a little bit bigger, it'll stay in my garden. It won't be coming in the house. A bit like cats. I really like cats, but I do firmly believe that the cat should stay outside, mainly because the cat that we've got, whenever it comes inside, it tries to pee on all the furniture. So, it's an outdoor cat. And me having grown up on a farm, that's probably where that comes from. Cats are outdoor animals, and they do well outside. They like outside. Occasionally they might come inside and curl up on a cushion, but they don't live indoors. Cats are outdoor animals. So, like cats, trees are outdoor creatures as well. They do well outdoors, and they don't tend to do quite so well once you bring them indoors. So this pine tree, no matter how often it asks, no matter how sad it looks, it's not coming indoors. It's going to stay outside, and I'll give it a bit of festive cheer once it's a bit bigger. Maybe put some tinsel or some outdoor lights over it, and then it'll be very happy, and it'll think that it's just as beautiful as the plastic tree that we've got indoors. And that will be the happy pine tree. There's going to be a new story of the happy pine tree, and maybe we'll even do a book about it. Probably not. I'm sure there is actually already plenty of kids' books about happy Christmas trees or some such. I was going to say nonsense, but no, maybe, far be it for me to judge. Maybe it really would make the tree happy to be indoors. I just don't think it will, though, considering all the past trees that have come indoors have died as a result of it. I'm fairly sure that the pine tree will be happier outside. Okay, this is pretty cool, the fact that you move along with the log. That is actually pretty cool. I'm pretty sure that the tree is going to be much happier outside and living to see many Christmases rather than just one Christmas. We'll see. We'll wait and see once it gets a little bit older and it's ready to start doing Christmases. Is it our weight that comes across there that does that, or is it just because we've cut the branches off? No, it's just because we were cutting the branches off. Right, we've cut down several trees here. We've got enough for another load, but we've also just about run out of time for today's episode. So in our next episode, we will be loading the trees back up. And yes, I did, didn't I? I forgot to adjust the time as I was loading it. So I'm going to do that right now. There we go. We'll put a little penalty on. We'll take it until midday, just so that we've allowed for the time it took to manually load those logs. We've got to do this properly. I forget every single time, but I still, I still want to do it properly. Even though I forget, I still genuinely want to do it properly. So I'll chop that one down there. Right, well that didn't work quite according to plan. So let's try chopping down another one. Cut you down there. Having two of them quite close together does make it a bit difficult sometimes. There we go. Dominoes. Right, we've dominoed those trees down. Now clean this one off. All the way up through like that. There we go. And I'll clean this next one off as well. There. All the way up through. This one's actually a bit longer than the first one. There we go. Right, I still think... No, they're both only going to be cut in half, though. So we'll chop that one down there. And we've gone past midday now, so I think that we have allowed for the missing speeded up of time that we were supposed to have done. So I have done it. I have actually done it. And I'll bring that one there, and we'll chop that one down. That can be the last one for today's episode. So if you've enjoyed today's episode, then please hit down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. Tomorrow, we will gather up a few of these trees and just get a few more branches sold. And then I'm thinking we'll probably hurry things along a little bit and get to our next grass cutting. So we can get that one started. We can do a little bit more cutting of trees while the grass is being cut. We'll do a couple rounds around the outside ourselves, and then we can leave the hired help doing that while we come up through and cut down a few more of the trees. so that we can keep everything moving along. We're now aiming to get our money as fast as possible so we can get the Scorpion up here and have that one going through cutting down trees, because that's a lot faster. But anyway, until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.